I don't know if anyone needs to hear more of my thoughts about Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni, but I do keep being interested in this case. It kind of feels like a mystery to me because I'm not sure who to trust. After recording my last video, I walked away feeling like I was inclined to believe Blake because so many of her co-stars and friends were coming out in support of her. On the other hand, I recognize that she's a huge celebrity married to an even huger celebrity, and I can see a world where people side with Blake because they want to be her friend or advance their career. But I also felt like it would be super weird if Blake completely made up the complaints against Justin and the guy from his production company. Like, you wouldn't normally write, "No more describing your genitalia to Blake," if no one ever described their genitalia to Blake. I also thought it would be super weird if the texts between PR people about ruining Blake in the press were somehow taken out of context. But now that's exactly what Justin Baldoni is saying happened in a $250 million lawsuit against the New York Times, accusing them of libel and cherry-picking to make Blake appear like the victim and Justin the villain. Like, one of Blake's complaints was supposedly that Justin would enter her trailer unannounced when she was breastfeeding, but he has texts where she says to come on into her trailer, she's just pumping. Or when Blake complained that she was being shown nude videos of women on set, the producer said the video he showed her was of his wife's home birth and was totally non-sexual. He says they were discussing how to film the birth scene in It Ends With Us. And when Blake complained that Justin called her character's clothing sexy, she was actually the first to use that word when they were deciding on wardrobe. And about those text messages between the two PR people, according to the lawsuit, they really were just taken out of context. Like when one of the people working for Justin saw the bad press about Blake and wrote, "You really outdid yourself with this piece," the other one replied, "That's why you hired me, right? I'm the best." But the suit says the New York Times omitted the part of the text where it's clear that they were joking and neither had anything to do with the negative piece about Blake. It just happened to be out there organically, and they were pretending to take credit for it. It also doesn't look great that the suit says Blake's husband, Ryan Reynolds, berated Justin and was aggressive toward him when he thought Justin was fat-shaming Blake. Justin's explanation for that, of course, is that he asked how much Blake weighs because he has a bad back and wanted to make sure he could lift her during a scene in the movie. Justin claims that he apologized and bent to Blake's will throughout the filming to avoid other confrontations. Now, the New York Times stands by its reporting, saying that it reviewed thousands of pages of original documents before publication. They plan to vigorously defend the lawsuit. Blake has now filed suit against Justin for severe emotional distress, humiliation, embarrassment, belittlement, frustration, mental anguish, and lost wages. I know people just want to know who the good guy and who the bad guy is here, but I'm not so sure it's as simple as that. We'll see what happens in court. Subscribe to Katie Does Crime on YouTube for more true crime stories.